How's it going, guys? I'm here to review Texas Chainsaw 2013 or Texas Chainsaw 3D.
The beast in me
Did you know anything about this place?
Just the address.
is caged by frail and fragile bars.
Wow.
Restless by day.
So this movie has nothing to do with the last two films that I reviewed. Instead, it's, I guess, a direct sequel slash reboot to the original 1974 classic. So this film is distributed by Lionsgate Pictures, and to their eyes, this is the true part two to the original classic. So this takes place 40 years after the original movie takes place. So the film begins right after the events of the original film, like seconds after the movie ended. And of course, the family's hiding by the cops, by the police department. Of course, all of a sudden you got angry redneck townsfolk that decided to put justice in their own hands, and they decided to kill the whole Sawyer family and burn their house down. And of course, the only survivor was Leatherface. And the Drayton Sawyer character, which he was in the first two movies, he is now played by Bill Moseley, who played Chop Top in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which is really cool. So he played Drayton Sawyer in this movie. That, I thought, was a cool little nod. And like I said, it cuts back like years later to 2013 when this movie came out. And of course, this movie stars Alexandra Daddario. And this is not really a spoiler because it tells you in the movie, like, it gives you hints anyways. But she then gets a letter from a relative, I should say, from the Sawyer family. She then decides to take her friends to go with her in Texas to see this house. And of course, what they don't know, that Leatherface is in the basement of the house. And that's when Leatherface starts killing that's the character's name, Heather's friends, one by one. Even before Heather even showed up, she was getting harassed by the same people from the beginning of the movie, the townspeople. She was getting harassed, bullied, and of course, talked shit down to, because they know that she's a Sawyer, and like I said in the beginning, that, like I said, she was adopted by her parents, which the parents was one of the townspeople that burned down the Sawyer family's house. So technically, she's a Sawyer, she's a relative, and she is the cousin of Leatherface. Leatherface chases her after killing her friends because Leatherface doesn't know that Heather is Leatherface's cousin. And of course, he finds that out later in the movie while the tables are turned. If you think Leatherface is the villain in the movie, he's really, like I said, he's always misunderstood in majority of these films, but he does kill Heather's friends.
Look like Granny likes to play a little pool.
What exactly did Granny do for a living?
I have no idea. I just learned about her yesterday.
The beast in me.
So after he realizes that Heather is his cousin, of course, the townspeople shows up, and especially the leader of the angry redneck townspeople starts beating up Leatherface, and then, of course, Heather has the choice to whether save her cousin Leatherface or just to run away. And of course, you know, she protects her own cuz. She gives him the chainsaw to do his thing. Do your thing, cuz. That's literally what she says in the movie. Do your thing, cuz. And that's all I can say. That's pretty much the plot in a nutshell. I mean, I don't know how a person can forgive a relative for killing your friends for that fast, but okay. And yes, I forgot to mention, Trey Songz is in this movie. The rapper, the R&B singer. Yeah, that Trey Songz. His character is the boyfriend of Heather. So, did I enjoy this film? This film. When I watched it for the first time when I was a kid, I would say yes. But now that I've seen better horror movies, better entries, better like sequels in each horror movie franchises or just shows and series, it doesn't even matter. I've seen some better shit than this, and this movie is really not that good. Don't get me wrong, this movie is entertaining. It has some memorable moments, it has some good, interesting moments, but this is where the movie falls flat for me. I'm gonna call the elephant in the room. Heather's not supposed to be like 17 or 20. She's not supposed to be young either way, because if she was born in 74, she would have been like 40 to 50 years old when like the math does not add up. Like, so this movie technically should have been in the 90s then, if that was the case, or at least the late 80s. Like, what? So they got the character's age wrong, which is a huge mistake. So they got her age wrong, and there's a scene where it's painfully obvious that they're trying to like cover the years and try not to mention the timeline, try not to mention anything about her age and the years. It's just painfully obvious, and that's one major plot hole in this movie. Don't get me wrong, the chicks in this movie are very attractive. They're really attractive, especially the main character, Heather, Alexandra Daddario. She is very, very stunning. Don't get me wrong, but that doesn't cover the fact that this movie is pretty garbage. Me, in my personal opinion, I don't mind watching these garbage horror sequels or these bad horror sequels because I find it entertaining. I do. I really find this movie entertaining. But will I recommend it to people who actually like love the true horror of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or just true horror who wants a good scary movie, like pretty much like more of a horror critique or a horror critic? Then no, I definitely do not recommend this movie at all. I don't know. Leatherface looks cool in this movie, don't get me wrong. He looks cool, badass as always. But the special effects in this movie, like the kills, some of the kills are pretty gruesome. There was one kill that was pretty epic when he was sawing this guy in half. But other than that, everything else was pretty cheap. Like, even some of the blood was so bad. Like, what I mean by that is it's cheap because it's CGI. The blood is CGI, it's cheap, and it's not really worth the effort putting that on screen, in my opinion. It's like, what's the point? You could just use practical effects. I never got, I don't know, I just never got why filmmakers use like CGI for blood. I just don't get it. But if you're making it like a visually like appealing comic book look, kind of like 300, then I get it. But if you're making it like a slasher movie, never use your blood for CGI. That's just a no-no. And the reason why I think it was CGI too, like all the other horror movies that I reviewed, like for example, My Bloody Valentine 3D and Saw 3D, oh man. The blood in those movies and special effects is pretty garbage because you can tell the CGI blood was made for a 3D movie, and this is the same exact thing for this movie. This movie was made for the 3D audience, and it was going to have a 3D release and a 2D release, of course. But the 3D release, the blood just looked, oh god, it just looks bad. And the acting, like I said, even though there's some talented actors in this movie, the acting is still pretty bad for the script that they were working with. The special effects is bad. The story does not make any sense. I mean, so you're telling me Leatherface was hiding out with a relative this whole time, and then after she died, she didn't tell Leatherface like, oh, your cousin's gonna come, so be ready, just don't kill anyone just yet. Or not only just that, like, why would you even kill the whole family to begin with in the beginning of this movie? And why would have the main character's age? Why would you have the main character's age wrong? Like, it's just, and I don't know. Trey Songz, he's cool. He's cool in this movie, but I feel like he just does not belong in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. That's just my personal opinion. And some of the scenes, like I said, how it's filmed, the cinematography, like the look of this movie looks pretty decent, but I don't know, everything else just looks cheap, and just, this movie kind of sucks. I mean, this is not really a good Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, guys. I don't know how else to explain it to you. The only good thing about this movie, or the only good scene about this movie, is the whole 1974 opening sequence. After that, this movie is just falls flat on its face, in my opinion. So will I recommend this movie to you guys? If you guys want a good Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, hell no, I don't recommend this movie. But if you want to watch every movie in the franchise to catch up, then fine. Just be warned, this movie is really not that good. It's just not a good entry. And you're going to need a drink after this. No, I'm just kidding. I will rate this movie a 5.5 out of 10. It was still pretty entertaining for me. I can watch it here and there sometimes, but other than that, I know for a fact in my heart that this is really not a good Texas Chainsaw Massacre entry. So that was my quick review of the Texas Chainsaw 3D or Texas Chainsaw. Please leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.